The storm had come out of nowhere. Thunder cracked the sky open like a whip as rain poured in heavy sheets over the winding backroads of rural Pennsylvania. Most sane people would have been home by now, curled up with cocoa or dozing off in front of late-night television. But Jake Carter wasn't most people. He was driving down Route 18 in a battered 1996 Chevy pickup, headlights barely cutting through the downpour, running an errand no one else would. He didn't expect to see her. There she stood, barely more than a silhouette under the roadside pines, soaked through to the bone, one hand raised in a trembling hitchhiker's plea. She wore a hoodie 3 sizes too big, mud-stained jeans, and sneakers that looked like they had survived a war. Her face was pale and her eyes were what did it. Wide, terrified, but defiant. Jake pulled over without thinking. "Hey," he shouted over the roar of the rain. "You need a ride?" The girl hesitated. Her eyes darted behind her, as if expecting someone to leap out of the trees. Then she nodded and hurried to the passenger side. She climbed in wordlessly, dripping water all over the seat. Jake tossed her a flannel blanket from behind the seat. "You okay?" he asked, studying her carefully. She was young, maybe 18, 19. But something about her posture, her silence, told him this wasn't just a hitchhiker running from a storm. She nodded again. "Thanks," she whispered. Her voice cracked like she hadn't used it in hours. "Just, anywhere far from here." "Name's Jake," he said, turning back onto the road. "You got one?" She hesitated, then said, "Call me Elle." Elle didn't speak much the first couple hours. Jake didn't press her. He'd driven cross-country twice, he knew people opened up when they were ready. They drove through the night in silence, save for the low hum of old rock ballads on the radio. But by dawn, with the rain gone and sun peeking over the hills, she started to talk. Little by little, her story came out. She was born Alara Kensington, the only daughter of the billionaire Richard Kensington. A household name. Tech tycoon. Real estate mogul. Fortune 500 monarch. Her face had once been on the cover of Forbes Kids. But money didn't mean safety. Not when your mother vanished when you were 10. Not when your father replaced love with headlines, and your life was controlled like a press release. At 17, she discovered secrets, about her father's dealings, about the people they hurt, about how her mother had never run away, but had tried to expose something, and paid the price. The final straw came when she was told she'd be marrying the son of another conglomerate in a business merger disguised as romance. So she ran. No phone. No ID. No plan. "I'm not brave," she told Jake, tears slipping down her cheeks as they drove through the sunlit hills of Ohio. "I'm just desperate." Jake glanced at her. "You don't gotta be brave every second. Just enough to keep going." They kept driving. Days passed. Jake offered her space and small towns. He knew people in Missouri, in Kansas. Places where no one would recognize a billionaire heiress with dyed hair and a borrowed name. Elle helped out in diners and thrift stores. She started smiling. She laughed once, watching Jake try to cook over a campfire. It was rusty and uneven, but it was real. And Jake? Jake started to change too. He had been drifting for years, haunted by his brother's overdose, weighed down by the failure of a garage business he had once poured his heart into. But Elle gave him something to care about again. A mission. A reason to believe in redemption. But peace never lasts. One day, while stopping for gas in Nebraska, Jake noticed a newspaper headline behind the counter: "Kensington heiress missing, FBI joins search." A reward. $500,000. Her face. Slightly older, longer hair, but still unmistakable. Jake froze. He said nothing. But that night, Elle saw it too. She didn't speak. She just sat by the fire, staring into the flames. "You think I should go back," she said quietly. "No," Jake said. "I think you should decide. Not your father. Not the FBI. You." Things changed after that. The weight of their choices started to wear on them. Jake knew he couldn't protect her forever. Elle knew she couldn't run forever. But she also knew she couldn't return to a cage. So, they made a plan. Using the last of Jake's savings and a laptop borrowed from a friend, they started compiling evidence. Elle had taken USB drives when she fled, documents, emails, financial trails. They worked for weeks, quietly building a case. Not just to protect her, but to expose the truth. Then, Elle did the unthinkable. She turned herself in. But not to the police. To a trusted journalist Jake knew in Denver. A woman who had once exposed corporate corruption at great personal cost. Elle handed over the files. Told her story. A runaway heiress not just fleeing her life, but fighting to make things right. The fallout was swift and massive. Richard Kensington was indicted within weeks. Several high-profile executives fell with him. The media was torn between admiration and disbelief. Elle refused all interviews. She only made one public statement: the truth matters more than legacy. Jake watched all this from a distance. He didn't expect her to come back. But one day, standing outside the auto shop he'd reopened with a friend's help, a black SUV pulled up. She stepped out. Confident. Clear-eyed. Not the girl in the rain anymore. "I'm not running anymore," she said. "But I'm not staying where I'm not free." Jake grinned. "You here for a tune-up?" She smiled. "No. I'm here for a road trip." They drove again, this time not running, but choosing. Choosing small towns. Choosing kindness. Choosing each other. And that, in the end, was the message their story left behind. You don't have to come from nothing to want everything to change. You just need the courage to find your own road, even if it starts in the rain. Because sometimes the people we rescue us right back.